Let's review Fire Emblem Fates, which is a strategy RPG created by Intelligent Systems in 2015 for the Nintendo 3DS. Fire Emblem Fates is a spectacular game with masterful combat, a wonderful cast of characters, and one of the best soundtracks, even though it has a story that falls behind other entries and aggressive DLC that locks large portions of the game. Fire Emblem Fates is made of two separate games. You are a Hoshidian prince who was kidnapped and raised by the country of Nor. In Fire Emblem Fates Birthright, you side with your relatives in Hoshido. In Fire Emblem Fates Conquest, you side with Nor instead. Your choice depends on which game you buy. There is also a third route which is released as a DLC to both games called Revelations. This serves as the true ending, but should definitely not be played first, because it glazes through most of the story and character development. I personally played two of the three routes, which are the Conquest route and the Revelation route. I haven't bought the Birthright game because buying all three routes would have costed me over $100 back in 2016. The combat system is absolute perfection. It is shocking how much information is available to the player and how elegantly it is displayed. All the enemies and their movements and attack range are clearly marked. You can highlight an enemy to see their class, weapon, and stats. Before attacking an enemy, you can see the battle prediction, including exact damage to be dealt, as well as hit and critical chances. Because of accuracy, criticals, and skill triggers, the final result can be random, but all the information you need to make the informed choice is laid out for you. Of course, this game expects you to use this information. Even one wrong move will easily kill a character permanently, and permadeath is how Fire Emblem is meant to be played. There are numerous systems that increase the tactical level of the combat, including the weapon triangle system, multiple tiers of weapon, and the pairing up system. Higher tier weapons are not always the best option, because stronger weapons usually come at the expense of accuracy, speed, evasion, or debuffs. If a unit has significantly more speed than another, the faster unit will hit twice in a turn, but the weapon weight also factors into the calculation. This means a weaker weapon may do less damage per hit, but it may allow you to hit twice instead of once, ending up with more overall damage. The game allows two units to pair up and fight as one unit. When the units are paired, the active unit gains bonus stats depending on the affection with the inactive unit. The inactive unit is completely immune to damage and cannot act. However, the unit can shield the active unit for one attack once the shield meter is full. Between each battle, you have a castle that you can manage. You could build buildings such as armories, smithies, and kitchens in order to equip your army, upgrade their gear, or other such bonuses. You can connect to the internet or spot pass to visit the castles of other players to harvest their resources. For example, my castle could only harvest peach, cabbage, crystal, and quartz, which can upgrade Norian swords and Hoshidian shurikens. You could trade 5 gems for 1 gem of your choice, but if you could harvest gems from other players' castles, it's much faster than trading. There are optional skirmishes between chapters, but they're not always readily available. I paid $22 for DLC maps to make my grinding easier. Some people would frown on this, saying I'm ruining the Fire Emblem experience, but I actually believe Fire Emblem Fates is perfect with DLC maps. Fire Emblem Fates Conquest is hard to beat without DLC or choosing an easy difficulty. Fire Emblem always had strong characters and dialogue. Every single line is polished with care and love. What's just as important is the character quotes scattered throughout the game, such as when they enter battle, their victory quotes, their level up quotes, when you talk to them in the castle, and when they tend to the shop. These small bits of dialogue have very few words, but adds so much to their personality. Each character is well designed without exception. If two characters fight alongside each other for long enough, they build a relationship, and you can view a dialogue between the characters for each relationship milestone. There are 3 or 4 dialogues per character coupling, with the 4th ending in marriage, but not all characters can build a relationship. These dialogues are some of the best moments in any game, ever. If there's any reason to continue playing the game after beating it, unlocking all these dialogues will be one of them. Since this game was intended to be sold as 2 separate games, the pressure to create enough characters to fit 2 full games probably negatively affected the overall story, which I consider significantly worse than its predecessor Fire Emblem Awakening. They diluted the story and characters into 2 games instead of making the best possible single game. The Revelation Route story is especially bad. All the subtleties and intricacies of a good story is wiped away, leaving only a bland story devoid of character. It's ironic that the route is called Revelation, which I assume is a marketing tactic to sell DLC, because there is no revelation except that the story is underwhelming. Still, the Revelation route was worthy mainly for additional support dialogue with opposing factions, new maps, and the ability to use almost every unit from both games. Fire Emblem Fates has one of the best soundtracks of all time, scoring an easy 10 out of 10 in the audio department. The music recycles many tracks from previous games, but provides enough new tracks to keep it fresh. The music is well orchestrated and performed with emotion. The atmosphere is spot on, and the variety is epic. The dialogue isn't voiced, but rather has short grunts or interjections to cover the gist of the emotion. Still, the most important parts are voiced, such as the battle cries, which are expertly done. Quality over quantity. The battle animations are dynamic and effective. On my second playthrough of Fire Emblem Fates, I kept animation on the entire time all the way to the end. This shows that the animation really adds to the gameplay experience in a positive way. The 3D character models and animations are better than Fire Emblem Awakening. I believe that Fire Emblem Awakening, which is this game's predecessor, is superior in almost every way. This doesn't mean that you should pass on this game, but rather you should play this game after you've played Fire Emblem Awakening. I give Fire Emblem Fates an 8.5 out of 10. It has amazing combat, character dialogue, 2D portraits, and audio. But the story is average and the DLC strategy is too aggressive. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming!